Hey everybody, today I got 5 fixed blades for you. The first one right here, the Kruppsteel Urban Edge push knife with Secure-X sheath. This is a powerhouse for its weight. The blade with sheath together weigh less than 2.5 ounces. It's got this rounded area right here for comfortable gripping for your fingers. And the blade itself is a 2.5-inch plain edge, and it's only ground on one side. So when you sharpen it, you have to do so in a kind of peculiar way, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. And this blade is designed for punching in a self-defense role, and that's why it's basically to maximize ergonomics. This squishy rubber just locks into your hand, and it's not going anywhere once you have it equipped. So really nice. And along that same mindset, Kruppsteel also has the Mini-Tac Kiridashi, which has this massive index area for extreme ergonomics, extreme retention, except that the Kiridashi is designed for slashing, not for punching, right? So it's got this 3-inch blade with a very acute tip, and the grips on this one are this like faux G10. It's basically just plastic that's been checkered to look like G10, but it's got a lot of friction and it works very well. I don't have a problem with it at all. And that's the mindset behind this blade. Because it is so small and it has very little mass, it's to just make it very grippy so that it, maximizes your own muscles' efforts. And the tip of this thing is absurdly sharp. It's absolutely fantastic. Just picture that in a slash attack, and you can see exactly what kind of self-defense role they had in mind when they designed this. It definitely will ruin a bad guy's day. Has this nice thumb jimping right here for a saber grip, and as you can see, it's just big enough to be effective, small enough to still be very light. It's totally unnoticeable when you carry it. I EDC'd this one for over a year. But the biggest problem with it, though, is the sheath that it comes with is actually a fine sheath, but you'll notice that you can't put your index finger in position in the sheath. So it is kind of a slow draw. You have to do a 2-stage draw to position your index finger. Still a really great blade overall, but just bear in mind its limitations, And I gradually moved on to larger blades like this Kruppsteel Spike 4-inch blade, 2.3 ounces. This is the Bowie spike. It's got 4116 German Kruppsteel, and it's got a very acute point, kind of like the Kiridashi, but not quite as acute. And of course, it's a completely different shape, but still, nevertheless, on a thrust, you could certainly do some damage. The index area here is not quite as pronounced as the Kiridashi, but it is definitely good enough to keep you from going forward on the blade, despite the very diminutive handle. The handle of which is made of this kind of textured plastic. I think polypropylene they call it. But I actually put these rubber pieces on it, and as you can see, they're wearing off because I carried this for a very long time, got a lot of use out of this particular blade that I'm showing you. But the rubber added a lot in terms of traction, really made a big difference. But it's a great blade overall. So on a kind of separate note, I can't talk about blades without talking about the Ontario 6145 military machete. I did an entire video on this because it is just that good. It's $20 and made in the USA. Comes with a very good steel. You do have to keep it oiled so it doesn't rust. I harvest wood with this. I get so much free fuel that it's a must-have. Just buy one and watch my review while you're at it. But it's an absolutely awesome machete. But as far as knives go, the Kobun Tanto is my absolute favorite knife of all time. This knife is so well thought out. The Secure-X sheath doesn't dull the blade, which is a nice thing. The blade itself of which is this AUS8 Japanese stainless steel, which is hollow ground, as you can see here, and that hollow grind makes for a very sharp edge. Because the angle is very thin at the edge. And it's just a great slasher. It's got this slight belly, as you can see, slight upsweep of the spine as well, kind of like a katana. But the Tanto tip is what really makes this thing a great jabber and a great slasher. So this was designed for self-defense first and foremost. Utility is kind of an afterthought with this one. It's got the little Kobun logo right there. Okay, whatever. Kobun, I guess, means underling. Uh, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it as well, but whatever. But yeah, the Japanese steel is a great steel. I really like its edge retention, and it's very hard. I like it a lot. The handle is made of rubber, and I usually place my thumb up on the spine of the blade with my index finger just under the finger guard, and that's the most secure way I've found. But you can grip it in other ways, of course. Just bear in mind those finger guards are not too big, so you have to, have a solid grip and be careful. But when you first pull it out of the sheath, you're not going to be able to get in this position just because of the way the sheath is shaped. You will have a full grip, but it's going to be behind the finger guard like this. So your thumb is going to be like that, and that's perfect for a thrust attack. So bad guy is approaching you, you thrust, bad guy gets 5.5-inch blade inside of him, and he runs away scared to death for his life, and you survive. That's the whole point. I did put some paracord around the end, but I'm probably going to remove this. This was just an experiment to see if the added grip was worth it, and it's not really necessary. The handle is plenty long on its own. So for your pinky, you don't really need the paracord. It was just a test. But overall, the blade itself just is perfect. It's 4.4 ounces. It's a 5.5-inch blade. Excellent Japanese stainless steel. Holds an edge well. Carries easily. And I think that you can't go wrong. So I highly recommend it.